7 huge spoilers as Coronation Street celebrates 65 years with flashbacks. Next week on Coronation Street, flashbacks monitor Maggie's beyond. Carl and Abby come to Debbie's rescue. And is Lauren onto Will and Megan? 1. Maggie proper hues are revealed. As we attain the week of Corrie's 65th birthday, Maggie may also be celebrating the equal milestone, as we are set to delve into her beyond in a unique episode interspersed with flashbacks. It is a story deal with for fans, peeling again the layers of Weatherfield's most recent matriarch. Tensions among Maggie and daughter in regulation Eva are rumbling on, following the own circle of relatives is passed to Weatherfield to take over the Rovers, and matters are not set to ease among them whenever soon. Let's be honest, placing the ones below the equal roof changed into constantly going to be like blending oil and water, or in Eva's case, Prosecco and poison. She's one of these very fierce girls who is fiercely protecting of the own circle of relatives. Pauline McLean tells us, and it is even with inside the own circle of relatives group. Obviously, she simply does not actually approve of Eva. She can also additionally like her. And if Ben wasn't round, I'm certain that they had get on actually well. So far, there has been loggerheads taking place there, and he or she's in order that suggest to Eva. It's actually approximately to attain a disaster point, I believe. On Monday, the own circle of relatives' interest turns to the birthday celebrations on the pub. However, Maggie's thoughts wanders. As we flash again in time, we see a younger Maggie with husband Alan and sons Ben and Finley. It goes to be a completely massive birthday. She's 65. That is a nod to the show's anniversary. Pauline explains, because it is a landmark birthday, it is inevitable which you could consider the beyond, what we're given you to in which you are. Human beings that are not round anymore, and matters which have happened. Pauline continues. You actually see her put together for it. She's nearly exhausted earlier than the massive 65th. Simply going, right, it is showtime, and he or she actually says it to herself. Places at the lipstick, and is going out there. This performative element of Maggie is fascinating. It shows the battle axe character is partially armor. As we see greater glimpses of Maggie's beyond, we get in perception into the activities which have fashioned her into the pressure of nature she is today. But as we see records surrounding an altercation among Maggie and Alan, does it suggest that Eva need to be concerned approximately what her mother in regulation is successful of? If Maggie has violence in her beyond, Eva's cheeky remarks is probably poking a sound asleep tiger. It's simply very transferring whilst you see what takes place with inside the flashback, as it indicates the problem of being a younger mother. I might not say whether or not she changed into satisfied or sad with inside the marriage. You could determine for yourself. Due to the fact there is no slant on it, it is simply supplied as what happened. It's intriguing, Pauline adds, and it is one of these matters which you realize whilst you see it. That this could have repercussions somewhere, somehow. It may be manner down the line. 2. Has Lauren observed Will and Megan's secret? Elsewhere with inside the Driscoll own circle of relatives, 15-year vintage Will continues to be smarting after girlfriend Megan agreed to exit for a drink with Daniel. The lad is genuinely out of his depth. Megan claims that she's simply looking to throw human beings off the heady fragrance of her predatory romance with Will. However, it is end up clean. She revels with inside the jealousy it brings out with inside the teen. It is sickening manipulation, gambling with a younger boy's feelings for kicks. Next week, it seems as 11 though Will is ready to play Megan at her very own game. As he tries to plant a kiss on Lauren, desperation makes you do daft matters. Lauren recoils immediately, and as soon as Eva unavoidably reveals out approximately it, she forces Will to apologize. Lauren takes it in her stride and assures Will that everyone is forgotten. Lauren's tough. She's visible worse. However, while Will later meets with Megan and expresses his remorse over the tried kiss, Lauren is close by and notices the pair searching mainly cozy. Lauren has avenue smarts. She is aware of while a vibe is off. Walking away with uncertainty, will Lauren be the only to unearth Megan's grooming of Will? If she does, She holds a grenade that would blow the Driscoll own circle of relatives apart. 3. Lisa confirms her destiny with Carla. Meanwhile, Dodgy Di Costello stays in health center following the brutal assault orchestrated via way of means of Becky. Karma has a humorous manner of running at the Cobbles. Both Kit and Carla are sure that Becky changed into responsible. However, are having hassle monitoring down any evidence. Frustration need to be consuming them alive. When Kit drops in on Costello on the health center, he finally ends up with greater questions than answers. After talking with Costello's wife, Lee, he learns the detective have been quietly making plans to retire to the Lake District in September, something he'd in no way as soon as referred to any of them. Kit relays the records to Lisa and Becky, noting how abnormal all of it seems, and at the same time as Lisa stocks his confusion, Kit cannot assist noticing the sparkle of unease that crosses Becky's face. Becky's masks is slipping. She did not account for Costello having a mystery life. Kit later tells Carla that he is starting to assume Costello and Becky can be operating to the equal agenda. Carla, worn down and out of steam, pours herself a hefty drink and reminds him they nevertheless don't have anything that might be referred to as proof. When Kit returns to the manufacturing unit, he tells Becky that Carla's in her workplace knocking lower back the scotch and looking to look Lisa. Becky assures him she'll skip the message on, then quietly slips into the manufacturing unit herself. As Carla reaches for every other drink, Becky steps within the workplace and closes the door, the predator cornering its prey. Chilling. Later, Lessa arrives on the station to acquire a number of Costello's belongings. She suggests Kit a pictograph of the residence the couple had offered in Coniston, and the name, Ravensgill, catches his attention. Digging further, Kit discovers the assets turned into bought via a restrained business enterprise created most effective every week after Becky turned into intended to have died. He leaves Carla a message, urging her to inspect it. This is the smoking gun. In the meantime, Carla returns to number 6 and admits to Lisa that she in no way must have walked away and that she's in no way stopped loving her. Lisa, torn, tells Carla she feels the equal, however insists it is too late. And the instant has passed. Their dating is over. Carla is left crushed. Heartbreak for Lila fans. However, I doubt Carla Connor offers up that easily.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.
4. Carl and Abby come to Debbie's rescue. Elsewhere at the Cobbles, Debbie is thrown into turmoil while she admits to Carl and Abby that she's bungled her and Ronnie's wedding ceremony arrangements. She's by some means booked the venue for 2027. Now no longer subsequent year. Debbie's typically sharp as a tack. This error is a merciless symptom of her condition. The realization hits Debbie hard, particularly understanding she might not be nicely sufficient to attend that lengthy together along with her young onset dementia diagnosis. It places a lump on your throat. Does not it? Time is the only luxurious she does not have. Carl and Abby straight away swing into action, decided to repair the mess for her. A brief even as later, they go back with a lifeline. Moncton Hall, certainly considered one among Debbie's different favored venues, has simply had a cancellation, and they have secured the date for 3 weeks' time. That is network spirit for you. Debbie's beaten with each comfort and pleasure, with the marriage all of sudden returned in her drawer close again. But her happiness activates a brand new catch-22 situation while she tells Ronnie she intends to ask Carl and Abby to the ceremony. Ronnie concerns she's relationship trouble. Satisfied Kevin might not tolerate their presence. His prediction proves spot on the instant Kevin hears Debbie's plan. He pointedly fingers her invitation instantly returned to her, making it clean he might not be a part of a marriage that consists of them. Kevin may be cussed as a mule, refusing to wait his sister's wedding ceremony while her time is precious. That is harsh, even for him. Will Debbie be pressured to move down the aisle without her brother at her side? 5. Has Sally made a promise she cannot keep? Over at number 4, there may be a chunk of pleasure for Joni while she famous to foster mother and father Sally and Tim that she's invited a few college buddies over for a Christmas party. Wanting to make the event unique for her as she and Shanice face their first Christmas without their incarcerated mother and father, Sally and Tim throw themselves into the preparations. Pulling collectively a right festive unfold so Joni can host with pride. Sally Metcalf loves a buffet. Bless her. Later with Inside the Week, Sally reassures the women that she'll ensure they get to peer their mum on Christmas Day. Decided to offer them something to appearance ahead to. Oh Sal, you are main together along with your heart, now no longer your head. But Tim's a long way much less satisfied. Lightly cautions Sally that she can be promising greater than she will deliver, with the jail not likely to permit visits at the day itself. There may be each risk the women might be permit down throughout again. Tim is the voice of reason. A damaged promise at Christmas hits tougher than every other time of year. 6. David and Shona clash. At number 8, expectant mother and father David and Shona's courting has been below pressure when you consider that studying their unborn child has a tumor. It is a nightmare state of affairs that no determined ought to face. They had been informed the most effective course that offers the child a risk of survival entails a main operation that places Shona in actual danger. David's intuition turned into to guard her in any respect costs. And the notion of risking her lifestyles left him questioning if finishing the being pregnant turned into the most effective secure option. Having misplaced Kylie, David's terror is palpable. He cannot continue to exist dropping Shona too. But Shona might not move there. She closed the concept down without delay. Decided to hold on, regardless of the chance thing turned into normal. Hiding the child's analysis from excited buddies and own circle of relatives sooner or later took its toll on David. As he blurted out with Inside the Bistro to their cherished ones that the child turned into in danger. Next week, David arrives domestic and is amazed to discover the residence humming with visitors. Shona explains it is a child shower. However, David's face says it all. It is ache looking them pull in special directions. With their child so high chance, the concept of celebrating feels off kilter, and David quietly tells her he is now no longer cushy with it. Shona's facade falters as she takes with inside the room, the visitors transferring awkwardly because the celebratory temper unexpectedly turns. This celebration goes to result in tears, and now no longer the glad kind. 7. George is involved for Todd. Also subsequent week, George admits to Christina that he is worried for Todd, who hasn't been himself in current times. Todd's coercive boyfriend Theo has been succeeding in slowly setting apart Todd from all of his cherished ones. Determined to have whole manipulate over him, and has sabotaged each Todd's activity and friendship with George. It is insidious how abuse creeps in, silencing even the loudest characters like Todd. Christina lightly factors out to George that he is virtually lacking Todd. So possibly it is time he tried to make amends. Later with Inside the Week, Gary bumps into George and Christina and casually mentions something that without delay unsettles them as he turned into taking walks beyond Todd and Theo's flat. He heard a noisy crash from inside. Having already suffered bodily abuse at Theo's hands. Is Todd okay? That crash is a terrifying signal. Let's desire Gary and George do not simply stroll on by.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.